In this video, I wanted to talk about something a little bit controversial in the world of global mobility. Mass migration versus investment migration. These two forms of migration are often talked about in the same breath, but they're fundamentally different in their drivers, processes, and impacts. With recent global shifts of economic uncertainty, geopolitical tensions, and evolving immigration policies, it's more important than ever to understand what sets them apart and how they're affecting people and economies worldwide. In this video, we'll break down the key differences, provide the latest updates based on 2025 data, and explore what these trends mean for individuals, governments, and global mobility. Let's get into it with clear, actionable insights and no fluff. So first, let's define our terms here. Mass migration refers to the movement of large groups of people from one region to another, often driven by necessity. This includes refugees fleeing conflict, economic migrants seeking better opportunities, or people displaced by natural disasters. The International Organization for Migration's 2024 World Migration Report estimated 281 million international migrants globally, with 117 million displaced due to conflict, violence, or disasters. These numbers are at record highs, with forced displacement doubling since 2000. For example, conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East have driven millions to seek safety in Europe and beyond. Investment migration, on the other hand, is a deliberate, often strategic choice by high net worth individuals or affluent families to gain residency or citizenship in another country through significant financial investments. This includes citizenship by investment (CBI) programs, like those in St. Kitts and Nevis, or the most famous one used to be Malta, but that just ended. There's something like 20 countries around the world with CBI programs. And then you also have residency by investment programs, or RBI programs, such as Portugal's Golden Visa. Greece has a Golden Visa. Almost every major country has some sort of residency by investment program. The investment migration industry is valued at over $20 billion globally and is used by over 80 countries, including 19 EU nations, the US, Australia, Canada, and more. Unlike mass migration, with investment migration, it's a very small group. Only about 5,000 CBI applications are processed annually. Think about it. You have about 20 countries offering CBI, and they're only doing combined something like 5,000 applications in total. And they are competing amongst each other as well. So it's a small group, but its economic impact is massive, often accounting for 10 to 40% of GDP in smaller countries like St. Lucia. Why do these migrations happen? Mass migration is often involuntary. Wars like those in Syria or Yemen push people to flee for survival. Economic hardship drives others, like Venezuelans migrating to Colombia or Peru, where over 6 million have left since 2015 due to economic collapse. Investment migration, by contrast, is about opportunity and strategy. And usually the person applying for investment migration doesn't really need it. It's more of a nice to have. They're building options for themselves. High net worth individuals use it to diversify assets, access better tax regimes, or gain global mobility. For example, in 2024, 10,800 millionaires left the UK for countries like Italy or the UAE due to tax policy changes, such as the phasing out of the non-dom or non-domicile tax system in the UK. Others seek political stability or better education and healthcare, as seen with Middle Eastern investors targeting Greece's Golden Visa and other European Golden Visas. The motivations are proactive: securing a Plan B passport, securing more visa-free travel, improving their passport portfolio, or business expansion in stable economies. Unlike mass migration, investment migration is tightly regulated, with stringent due diligence to prevent fraud or money laundering, driven by standards from the OECD and Financial Action Task Force. Another idea is how you need a police check for CBI pretty much 100% of the time. But with mass migration, a lot of people complain that these are unvetted migrants and they're not coming with an Interpol check or a police check. So let's talk about processes. Mass migration often involves irregular pathways. Think border crossings or asylum applications. In 2022, Germany saw net migration higher than during the 2015 migration crisis, quote unquote, with 1.4 million net migrants. Asylum seekers must navigate complex legal systems, often waiting years for approval. Irregular migration can erode public confidence, fueling smuggling networks and political backlash, as seen in debates over U.S. border policies. Regular pathways, like work visas, exist but are limited, and a lot of countries are tightening their policies around both legal and illegal immigration. Investment migration, however, follows structured legal frameworks. CBI programs like St. Kitts and Nevis has been around since 1984, so 40 years plus in business. And it requires an investment between $250K as a donation to $400K as a real estate investment. RBI programs like Greece's Golden Visa start at $250K to $500K for real estate investments. Applicants undergo rigorous background checks, Interpol checks. It's checked with multiple departments. And overall, fair to say that CBI and RBI investors and applicants face much more stringent background checks and checks overall than asylum seekers and people involved on the mass migration side of things. On the CBI side of things and the investment migration side, processing times are typically faster. For example, in Malta or St. Kitts, they can deliver a passport to you in less than 12 months. Whereas Portugal's Golden Visa is a residency by investment where you're looking at 5+ years of residency to get citizenship. You need to invest significant capital, proof of lawful funds, and often a clean criminal record as well. Proof of funds is a big one. If you can't support where your money comes from, your application may well be denied. Unlike mass migration, it's a business transaction, not a humanitarian plea. Economic impacts are where these two diverge sharply. Mass migration is associated with a lowering of the standard of living in the host country. Mass migration has had huge negative impacts on places like Canada, Australia, and Europe, where wait times at hospitals have surged. The cost of housing and the cost of living has surged dramatically. Whereas with investment migration, due to the low numbers, often just a couple thousand people a year or less, it's having a lot less of impact on the housing supply, on the cost of food, on the wait times at hospitals, etc. Crime is another issue, where investment migration, obviously these people have a big stake in the country. You're not going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars and then start, stealing bikes. Whereas with mass migration, these people have a lot less stake in the country. They have a lot less to lose by, say, stealing a bike or robbing a store or things like that. And so that's why, on average, an individual involved in mass migration is more likely to commit crime than someone involved in investment migration. So it's really a different character and a different profile of applicant. Investment migration, while smaller in scale, punches way above its weight economically. In Caribbean nations, CBI programs fund disaster relief, infrastructure, making up 10 to 40% of GDP in places like Dominica. Portugal's Golden Visa has generated 750 million euros in FDI, foreign direct investment. In Malta, it raised something like 1.4 billion euros during the 10-odd years of the program. And right now, what we're seeing in 2025 is Argentina is about to launch Latin America's first direct CBI program, aiming to attract FDI, foreign direct investment in the country. We're thinking 500,000 is going to be the number in Argentina, and at 1,000 applicants, I mean, how much money is that? 1,000 times $500,000. That is $500 million in just the first year alone in foreign direct investment. So 1,000 applicants are going to bring $500 million to the country, whereas with mass migration, obviously they're bringing a lot less FDI into the country. So what's kind of interesting is how these two things interweave a little bit, because mass migration is causing an exodus from countries like Canada and the UK because these countries have gotten more dangerous. They're unsafe to raise a family in the large cities now. And so a lot of Canadians and Brits and Australians are actually looking to investment migration to have a plan B or even a plan A. So we're seeing a huge surge in Canadians looking for citizenship by investment. We're seeing a huge surge in Brits looking for citizenship and residency by investment. They want to get out of the UK where they're being taxed to death, and they can go somewhere else where they're treated best, where they can get a passport, they can get residency, they can be somewhere that's safer, lower tax, and increases their global mobility. So the key differences here, mass migration is all about survival for millions of people. The type of immigration is often irregular. It has broad social impacts. It has systemic challenges that we didn't get into too much in this video, but everybody can see it. Investment migration, on the other hand, is elite, it's legal, and economically targeted, benefiting both the investors and the host countries. And though it's faced a little bit of regulatory heat, I think one of the reasons for the heat is because people were buying single-family homes in places like Portugal and Canada, and that was perceived to be raising the cost of buying a single-family home, obviously, because that was creating outsized demand. And so what we've seen a lot is that the investment migration programs have tweaked things so that you can't just do direct real estate investment. You have to buy bonds of the country. You have to invest in the stock market of the country. You have to donate to the country. And that helps bolster the coffers of these countries. It helps reduce their national debt and overall has a large net positive impact. Both are growing. Mass migration is growing due to crises. Investment migration is growing due to globalization and wealth mobility. To stay ahead, monitor policy changes. MyLatinLife, we're a full-scale offshore and immigration consultant. If you're looking to get citizenship by investment or residency investment around the world, you can book a call with us. There's a link in the description, and we can build you a custom plan, answer all your burning questions, and put you on a path to getting a new residency card or passport in your hands. So that's the full breakdown on mass migration versus investment migration in 2025. Whether you're navigating a crisis or planning a strategic move, understanding these pathways is key. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if this video helped clarify things for you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more global mobility insights, book a call with us, link in the description, and we'll see you in the next video.